I think now would be a good time to share a story with you. It's a pretty personal one, and this happened several years ago, and it has to do with the first time I ever got any feedback on any one of my stories. I've been following a novelist, and he was also a story coach, and I saw that he offered critiques, and it was a pretty good rate. So I went ahead and invested in getting his feedback. He sent me a questionnaire, completely filled it out, gave him some extra details, and then he sent everything back to me. And that's when my first story coach offered me a refund, a full or a partial refund. The story coach, he just wanted me to feel whole, quote unquote. And he was kind enough to explain his rationale in the email. Here are some exact quotes. He said, "I couldn't tell you the main storyline." He said, "I can't tell you with confidence what anybody in this story was trying to accomplish." He said, "I can't coach what I can't comprehend." Ouch. And what do you know? After I read his email, I fell face first onto my bed. I'll never forget that moment. I was devastated because I thought that I'd finally figured out how to tell a decent story. Actually, I kind of thought that I was on the verge of knocking my story out of the park, hitting a home run. But then that story coach, he offered me a refund. And he basically told me that I'd created a hopeless opus. But I gotta say, it's gotten much easier when it comes to getting feedback. I guess most feedback situations are gonna be a lot easier after you've been offered a refund from someone you paid to help you develop your story. I bet you won't be able to top that one. Actually, I pray you won't be able to top that one. But I do want you to know that putting my work out there and putting my story out there and getting that feedback, it was totally worth it. Granted, it was the worst kind of feedback that you could ask for, but again, there was value in it. And here's why it was so important. That feedback told me that there was a lot more work to do. It told me I needed to further develop my ideas to make my story great. Looking back, of course, I wanted nothing but praise from that story coach. I didn't want a refund. I wanted cheers and high fives. But it turns out that I'd been writing in my own little rabbit hole for years without knowing that my story was a steaming pile of prose. If I hadn't received that feedback right there, who knows where I'd be at right now. So yeah, I learned that feedback, it can be tough, but I also learned that a lack of feedback can really hold back a story. Because all that time I spent writing alone without getting feedback, it stunted my growth and it prevented my story from reaching its full potential. But I gotta say, on top of all that, I realized that the story coach's feedback, it wasn't all about me personally, and the feedback you receive won't be about you personally. That may sound like a no-brainer right now, but I gotta say, it's really easy to forget in the moment when you feel like all of your hard work is being stepped on and trampled on. So yeah, your story, it was created by you, but your story, it lives outside of you. I think this is really important. So remember this part as you begin to get feedback. Critical feedback is not a reflection on you as a person. Yes, we're kind of jumping into some psychology stuff right here. But again, I believe it's important to review because you're a creative person and you may take criticism personally. I'm just saying that the right approach can help you process feedback, both good feedback and not so good feedback. Anyways, getting feedback, it helped me get this far. So I'm confident that it's going to help you get to where you want to go. And I bet you'll even get used to feedback because I have. I'm at the point where I ask for feedback on nearly everything. I get feedback on my stories throughout the creation process. I get feedback on my blog posts before I hit publish. I even gathered feedback to help develop Fast Draft. I talked to people for over a year before I knew how to position this course to make sure it helped people to the best of my ability. And then I got feedback while I created each module. So again, if I can have my heart broken by feedback and then make a complete recovery to the point where I'm totally comfortable with regular feedback, I'm confident that you can too. And straight up, feedback is what it's going to take to help get your story to reach its full potential. And I'm excited to see where your story can go. Okay, just wanted to make sure that we're on the same page here. Yeah, that means my monologue has officially ended. Just remember, its purpose was to make sure you saw why getting feedback was so important and how the right approach can help you inside the process. So now I want you to move on to the next video.